Hi, my name is Monte Tilgner with the Iowa High School Athletic Association. This will be our review of week 5 in our Iowa High School games. We've got 15 plays to look at, and I think just a great variety this week. Really excited about the plays that we have, maybe the best ones we've had so far. So let's go ahead and get started. First one here, it's just some confusion to make sure we got to clear up. The initiating forcible contact against a defenseless player rule. Remember, by rule, a runner is only defenseless if he is already in the grasp of a tackler and whose progress has been stopped. And that's per rule 2316D. So if you do not spear, face tackle, target, or target the runner, it's not a foul for hitting him too hard and not wrapping up. So what we have here is a big hit by this player, but this is a runner. He does not target him in the head or neck area with the forearm or shoulder or something like that. So he doesn't have to wrap up. And you can see big hit there, and we have a flag. So very forcible hit, but it's shoulder to shoulder, and thus it is not a foul. This is a foul for illegal personal contact against a defenseless player. Very nice call by our back judge here on this play. So let's skip forward here a little bit. Again, this one, you take a look. So when they're coming at these different angles, this is when we can have this foul. So forcible contact, if he doesn't wrap up, then that's one of the categories makes it where it would not be a foul if he does wrap up. In this case, he does not wrap up, comes in forcibly with the shoulder. It's to the stomach of the receiver, and therefore we have a foul for illegal personal contact against a defensive player. Nice call by the back judge. Okay, so we missed a couple blindside blocks on this one, and I think better positioning and better eye discipline, in other words, where we need to be looking, would help us to get these blindside blocks. So we got a punt play here, and you can see, first of all, our line judge starts way too late and also doesn't go hard enough. He's literally only, 12 yards, 13 yards downfield, and he should be another 15 yards downfield. So just going back, you can see we want to go right at the snap. We want to be going, so we go too late. We don't go hard enough, and then we are not in good position. So if we were in better position, you'll see we would have a better opportunity to see this first blindside block, which is going to be right here. And if we were back here, we might potentially be able to see that, because then we could be looking through the runner and have an opportunity to maybe see that block. Okay, but the back judge and the umpire, neither one of them have responsibility for the runner. So we need to open up your vision. You need to look for that guy who's going the wrong way. So let's just run this in full speed first. And you can see definitely a foul here. That's a shoulder, forcible to the blind side. That's a foul for blocking the back. Now our issue is our back judge is not deep enough. He came up too far, and now he's retreating, and he's not going to be able to see anything. So this is our next player here. He's going to have it brick in his hand. He's running a different direction than anyone else. Okay, so who should be able to see this? If our back judge was deeper, he'd have a good look. Remember, back judge, you do not have to be looking at the runner. You should be looking at blocks. The headline judge, definitely, and our umpire, who's right here, could also see this. Again, shoulder to the shoulder, forcible contact. That is a foul for illegal personal, or foul for a blindside block, sorry. And remember, referees, you do not turn to the press box and signal touchdown. You only need to signal if we have a try or a field goal. So too many things going on in the back of the end zone here. Something could happen that you wouldn't see if you turn around. So just continue watching that action, signal touchdown facing the players. Okay, this is starting to happen more and more. Disconcerting signals by the defense. So this is a foul, and it would be announced as delay a game, defense number 53. Be a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, and we would either replay the down, or, well, I guess when we replay it, we would either have the same down or the distance may have given the offensive first down. So we can take a look here what we're going to see, and I've illustrated the player here, but also talked about the rule. So rule 719, no defensive player shall use disconcerting acts or words prior to the snap in an attempt to interfere with A's signals or movements. So what would be disconcerting acts? You can see here he's going to make a quick movement and stomp his foot right in front of this tackle. Okay, if the offense uses a clap cadence, the defense can't clap. If the offense says hut, they can't say hut. If they say go, the defense can't say go. Those are all things that are trying to are interfering with A's signals or trying to get A to commit a false start. So here's a case play. You can see team, while he's calling signals, defensive back starts 8 yards back from the line of scrimmage, runs towards the neutral zone, stops right in front of the tackle, does not end in the neutral zone. In response to B1's charge, A4A does not move. If he does not move, we have no foul. B, he flinches. If he flinches, we have two possibilities. A4 is guilty of a dead ball fall for a false start, but if in the covering official's judgment the action by B1 was for the purpose of disconcerting or hindering A, then it's a foul for disconcerting signals, and the covering official should sound his whistle. It's a dead ball foul per 719, which I started above. So let's just watch this player here that's circled. Okay, you can see that's not a normal football act. Okay, he simply is trying to get a false start by that player, and that's what makes that a foul. And that would be a delay game defense, and that is on number 53. So they talked about it and did put that on the defense, properly called by the crew. Nice job. Okay, forward fumble out of bounds. We just are struggling with this rule in some cases, so we need to fully understand it. The name kind of tells you everything you need to know. So we need a forward fumble, and that forward fumble has to go out of bounds. In this case, we do have a fumble, and it is fumbled forward. The ball is picked up by a teammate, and the ball is returned, or I shouldn't say returned, is ran in for a touchdown. So in this case, we have a touchdown. All right, we are not going to return it to the spot of the fumble because that forward fumble did not go out of bounds. We have a touchdown. So, and remember also in NFHS rules, we do not have a fourth down fumble rule like in the NCAA. So even if it was fourth down, this would be a touchdown in Federation rules. So to recap, 4431 exception. When a forward fumble goes out of bounds or is ruled out of bounds between the goal lines, the ball shall be returned to the spot of the fumble. We need to have it forward. We need to have it go out of bounds before we come back to that spot of the fumble. And if we do so, remember, we are going to have the clock be on the referee's signal. Okay, we have two handoffs on this kickoff, but the problem is the first one is an illegal forward handing, which is a foul. So nice job by the referee. So you can see kickoff, and what you're going to see is you got, here's our first handoff. So we got this player, this is our man with the ball right here, and this player is facing backward, so he's going to hand it off to him forward per Rule 219.2. That is a foul. So there's our first handoff. Here's our second handoff. This one, he's handing it off to a player behind him. So this one is legal. Next thing I want to talk about, good job by our referee, is This is not a foul for a hold. Okay, we got to be very, very careful. Ugly does not mean it's a foul. So he initiates contact from the front. He never loses contact, and he drives this player to the ground from the side. He does not restrict this player in any way. So this should not be a foul or holding. Okay. See our umpire not even looking at the play, bailing out to the side. So this is why umpires, you go into the hash, and if you need to move from that spot, you can't go toward the sideline. Go more towards the middle of the field. We've got an official coming up the sideline. So we're not officiating anything at that point. So you can see he just continues to drive that player, and they go down to the ground. Okay? But this is not a hold. There's no restriction. He continues to drive him from the side, and then he takes him down and he pancakes him. So not a foul, not a hold that we would want called. We are going to enforce the illegal forward handing from that spot. And since it's a kick play, there's no loss of down on that. Okay, I had this on 3 different training tapes now. So good call by the referee. If they pick up a runner and they throw him down, it's a foul. Okay, we are not going to distinguish, do they pick him up and throw him down on his head or on his back? Okay, they pick up this runner here, right here, he picks him up, throws him down, so we're going to make that a foul. All right, so good job, good call by the referee. Coaches, talk to your players. We just do not want them picking guys up and throwing them down. It's not a tackling drill you do. It's not something that we want to see, not something that we want called. All right, illegal blocks below the waist by the defense are becoming more common. So we need to get these. These are big safety fouls. We need to get these. So we go forward here. What we're going to see is this defensive end, I believe it is going to go low on this pulling guard. And the referee and our line of scrimmage official both should have a look at this. Remember, if their intent is going to go low, they're buying that foul. So don't nitpick, does he hit him at the waist or not? In this case, it's not even close to the waist. It's below the knees. Okay. Any contact makes it a foul. There is contact. There is a foul. Well called by our line of scrimmage official. Remember, we do need to continue to officiate the play. So what we like to see happen at the end of this play is we need to continue to officiate because we've got a fumble. So we should have a beanbag, but we should be coming straight down and then come in and then make our ruling. All right, so the defense ends up, I think the offense ended up with the ball, but doesn't matter because we would have that block below the waist by the defense. So just going back to that, remember, we would go 15 yards from the, let's see, wait a minute. We got, what do we have on this play that happens? We've got a running play that goes beyond the line of scrimmage. So we're going to have that from the end of this related run at about the 45-yard line, and we're going to go down to from the 45 to the other 40, position 1, and the clock would be on the ready for play. Another block below the waist by the defense, same game. So you can see on this one, very, very similar. This player here, a different player. Definitely goes low. One that the headline judge and the referee could see. Okay, we don't need a lot of contact. They go low and they contact him. That's enough for a foul. Again, this would be one that would be enforced from the end of the run. Okay, important one here. Interesting play in NFHS football. If the returner muffs the punt, we cannot have KCI. It's open. Okay, it's wide open for that defense to contact him, to possess the ball, whatever the case may be. So we have a muff, and then we end up in the end with the return man ripping the ball away. But it looked to me like that returner possessed that ball, and now he goes down. Okay, and then in a second act, that ball gets ripped away. So we would want to give this ball to the return team. If you would rule technically joint possession, if you would rule that. It's still going to be the return team's ball by rule when we have joint possession. Okay, we need to know if there's air under the ball. Remember, if they toss that ball up on like a jet sweep type situation, that is a forward pass. So in this case, we have two forward passes. So the second one is going to be an illegal forward pass, and we should have a flag down. So let's take a look. Here's our first one right there. I'll put it in slow motion here. Tossed by the quarterback. It doesn't matter how forward that ball goes. If he tosses it up in the air, it's considered a forward pass. Now the second one, yeah, we got a backward pass. So we've got one forward pass right now. If number 5 would run the ball, we're all good. Number 5 ends up throwing the ball forward. Therefore, we have a second forward pass, which is an illegal forward pass. Remember, a second forward pass is going to be enforced 5 yards from the spot of the foul. It includes a loss of down. So we're going to end up going from the 31 back to the 36, position 5, and we would have loss of down. We would have 4th down. Because we had a scoring play, the clock would be on the snap. Okay, so on this one, another interesting one with kick catch interference possibilities. Positioning the back judge is important, and knowing what is and what is not KCI. So this is not KCI. If it was forcible enough, it could be a personal foul, but why can't this be KCI? So first of all, back judge, remember, we have two returners. And with 2 returners, you are supposed to be splitting them. If this guy's on about the 13-yard line, I'd want your feet to be on the goal line. So ideally, your feet are on the goal line right here. Okay? This is old mechanic. You can see why we don't like it. You're pinned to the sideline. If this guy would catch this ball, you're way too far away. So remember, 2 guys, you're going to split them. All right? So now, what we have is this kicking team player is going to come in and he's going to hit and wrap up, not forcibly, but hit and wrap up this return man. So why can we not have KCI? Because KCI in NFHS is obstructing R's path to the ball. And you can see that ball bounced right here. He's just trying to deke them and make it look like it so they don't go down and try to down that ball. So if it was forcible enough, you could have a personal foul. We do not have enough force. Therefore, we would not have a foul on this play. All right, a really good example of the momentum rule. So you can see we are going to, what is the momentum rule again? Remember, if the ball is possessed inside the 5-yard line, which it is, and then he goes into the end zone and he ends up being tackled. So you can see our back judge is coming up here, and here's our next snap. Sorry, here's our next snap. From the 2-yard line, position 1, because he possessed the ball over here outside of position 1 at the 2-yard line. So mechanically, we want a beanbag at that spot if possible. In this case, with that back judge coming all the way in, you can just go to that spot where he possessed the ball. And but a really good job of ruling momentum on that play by the crew. Last play, what is and what is not a horse collar tackle? So remember, horse collar tackle by rule has to be from grab in the collar area or the nameplate and pulled down from the side or backward. In this case, I'm going to go slow here now. In this case, we've got good coverage by our back judge. We do not drag this guy down backward at all. They end up totally going forward. You can see he falls forward. Okay, so he did not get taken down to the side or backward. This would not be a foul for a horse collar tackle. Properly ruled that way, and properly ruled that the ball is dead at about the 2-yard line they went with. So nice job of understanding the rules. Remember, as we're signaling, face players. So don't square up to the field and signal. Continue to have your eyes on this player and these players right here.